Shedeur Sanders went to a WNBA game, and he ran into Raiders owner Mark Davis, and they exchanged some words, and Mark Davis had this to say. I'll play the video. Take a listen here. He says, "Who knows? You may be home right now." Big Matt, your thoughts on this? Could Shedeur be home in Vegas already?
Yeah, man, that's a great fit for him. It's inside. There's no bad weather. Everything's temperature regulated. You know, the problem is the Raiders have a hard time keeping superstars happy.
Yeah, true.
So, like the beginning of the marriage could be awesome, but I guarantee you when it comes contract time, the minute they try and go hardball with this kid and the Sanders family, it will turn negative. So if the Raiders know how to, like, this is the thing. The Raiders know how to get the hot chick. They don't know how to treat the hot chick to get her to stay. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So getting her is cool. Keeping her, that's actually the key. So I don't know, dog. I think it would be a good fit initially, but I don't think he would finish his career with the Raiders just because, I mean, who does? They're already talking about Max Crosby, like, wanting a new team. I loved his response to that, like, calling out McAfee and shit.
Yeah. Davies will talk about that tomorrow because holy shit.
He went after them.
He called out Lombardi. Like, he went right at, he was like, the GM who's been a GM for 1 year.
GM's been there for 1 year. What does he fucking know? And you got all these guys on McAfee's show that just sit there at the desk and sound like fucking idiots. And I'm like, okay, Max. What are you going to do? Be like, Max, you're wrong. And he'll be like, say something. You're like, sorry, Max.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But back to this. You watched the Raiders firsthand yesterday. They benched Gardner Minshew, put in Aiden O'Connell. It looks like they don't have they keep switching quarterbacks. They don't have a quarterback. Just could Shedeur really fit into that team? They got 2 tight ends. Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers are pretty damn good. Who knows what happens with Devontae Adams? I guess he's gone. But your thoughts on that?
Look, again, if they can build around him, he'll be fine. Every team is a quarterback away.
Yeah.
Every team in the NFL is a good quarterback away. I know the Bengals are shitty with Joe Burrow, but they could catch fire and go from 1-4 to 5-4 quick because they have Joe Burrow.
Sure.
Let's be real. Like the Ravens have a chance every weekend because they have Lamar Jackson. The Steelers are up and down and don't have a chance because they don't have a guy. They don't have one. They got 3 guys on their fucking roster, and not one of them can play. So it's Cleveland. Cleveland would be a lot. Cleveland with Baker Mayfield was pretty good. Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, not so good. Okay. Joe Flacco is the fucking highest rated passer in football. Anthony Richardson is the last rated passer in football.
It's so ironic.
Hey, Schmitty, can you explain that for us, please? Because Anthony Richardson was supposed to come in and fucking be like the next Michael Vick.
Smitty, come on.
Come on, dog. I want to hear you rationalize this one. So it's all about quarterback. When Trevor Lawrence plays well for Jacksonville, they score 38 points. When Trevor Lawrence plays shitty for Jacksonville, they score 10.
Yeah.
So this is, hey, hold on a second. That's the most annoying. I know everybody can hear that horn. That's some cocksucker outside that parked his car and then just walked off, and now his car is just honking.
Oh,
man, I just want to walk out there, and this is what happens, Larry, to this guy's car. Do you see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens, Larry? You see what happens, Larry? When you let your fucking car horn go off in the middle of the day and people are trying to do shit? Do you see what happens, Larry? But back to what we're talking about. Everybody, if you got a quarterback, tonight's game will be competitive because Mahomes is him and Derek Carr is serviceable. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like the Broncos have a chance in the future because it seems like Bo Nix is figuring this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't fucking rocket science, like, especially when you build your entire goddamn team around one fucking guy. So, I mean, we'll see. But if Shedeur steps in and he's an unbelievably good pro quarterback and he reads things the way he does in college and he can throw guys open and, make – the thing I like about Shedeur is he's not afraid to throw the 8 to 10 yard hitch route. Like he will progress the ball down the field throwing it. Whereas you see a lot of other high-quality quarterbacks in college, the majority of their down-the-field stuff is shots and big plays. I'm not saying he doesn't have shots and big plays. I'm saying he matriculates the ball down the field until they come up, and then he takes the shot. I don't know, man. Jaden Daniels, you think the Commanders have a chance? Commanders went from irrelevancy, or the Redskins went from irrelevancy to fucking – they're going to win the goddamn division and host a playoff game.
Serious shot to win the division.
Who's the NFL MVP right now? Lamar Jackson? Probably.
Lamar, Derrick Henry. You have to throw Darnold in there right now. You have to.
Yeah, you do.
5-0.
You do. Darnold should be in
the up there. Too early, but yeah.
King Henry should be the MVP. That motherfucker.
That's what I'm saying. Henry's
people right now. But Jaden Daniels is in that conversation. He's top 5 in the MVP and Rookie of the Year, just like Stroud last year. So what? And when you're evaluating quarterbacks, what's separating these guys? It's fucking dumb agents and idiot scouts and GMs that have 1 year fucking experience, like Max said. The guy, did you see the sign yesterday when Carolina and Chicago played? It's like, thanks, Carolina, for all of this, for that. And Bryce Young doesn't even play, and they got all these draft picks and Caleb Williams for that fucking kid?
Yeah, Carolina's struggling. I mean, I watched that whole game. It's just they have problems.
It's like when you go to the strip club with your boys and you got all this money and you see the hot one, but she's got the fucking ear wax thing. Remember that? So she's not so hot anymore after the earwax thing.
Yeah.
You thought she was bad, and you made a bad decision, and now you got to live with that, and you can't earwax yourself. So what the fuck? So I mean, I just
yeah. But last thing on this, if Shedeur, if this this is the start of this whole thing here, but
Redskins.
Yeah, Redskins. I've done a video
on that.
Check my
they
channel.
They get to be the Redskins, and the Chiefs don't get a fucking team, and the Seminoles don't get a fucking team, and all these other fucking teams, they don't get teams either. You need to be equally as pissed off.
And if you would like to question why that is, look at the demographic of the cities that have changed their names. The end. Matt, the last thing on this: do you think Shedeur
Oysters?
Do you think Shedeur Sanders could fit in with Antonio Pierce and their offensive coordinator? I don't know if you know who he is. Luke Getsy used to be the OC in Chicago. Do you think he could fit in with them?
No, I think Antonio Pierce and everyone's getting fired.
Really?
Yeah, bro. 100%.
Why do you say that?
The substitute teacher got the job. The players are not responding to the substitute teacher as the real teacher. He'll get fired and go be a linebacker coach or a DC somewhere the rest of his career, and that's not a bad thing. I know everybody wants it to work, but you can't just get rid of all of your players and trade Devontae Adams, and you're not going to win games with Gardner Minshew and O'Connell apparently. So, I mean, it's like fucking Jimmy Johnson said, we're going to win a ton of games here. The problem is none of you motherfuckers are going to be here to see it. So, it's just the way the Raiders are. The Raiders, look, super bad haircut Davis and his franchise have got to figure out how to stop self-sabotaging. They get all these good players, and then they either don't re-sign them or they sabotage it and have to trade them. Josh Jacobs never should have left fucking Oakland, ever. Carr should have never left the Raiders, ever. If they had Carr on this team, they'd be competitive and playing for the playoffs like they were. Remember when they went to Cincinnati and Burrow stepped out of bounds and still threw a touchdown pass or whatever that was?
Yeah.
The refs went against the Raiders on that day. Without that play, they win a fucking playoff game. With, mind you, an intern coach at the time.
Yeah, because the John thing, yeah.
I just think that they hired McDaniels. McDaniels came in and gutted the team. Same thing he did in Denver, and now they have to rebound off of it. And drafting a good quarterback will help. But what are you going to do with him once you draft him, bro? Like, McDaniels is just, if you want to fucking sabotage your own team, go hire Josh McDaniels. That guy is a fucking schmuck.
How many do you think he set back this organization?
Bro, he set back the Broncos so bad when I was there.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the locker room one day, right? My boy Brandon Marshall's my locker mate right next to me. And Cutler's like across the way, and you got fucking dudes everywhere and like good players, right? And I walk in the next day and like Marshall's gone and Cutler's gone, and we got Storm Kyle Orton and fucking Brandon Lloyd. And Brandon Lloyd's good, but he ain't Brandon Marshall. And Kyle Orton was okay, but he ain't Jay Cutler. And like, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? And like, we started 6-0 that year, and it was all good. And then we went, and a year and a half later, he was fired, and we were 4-12. But then we got Vaughn. So, that like sometimes you just got to be shitty to get a good player. Same thing. He went into the Raiders. He got rid of Carr. How many guys did he just fucking ship?
Yeah, true. I mean,
he just got rid of everybody. Anybody that didn't fit his narrative was out.
I mean, the whole
that's the way it works.
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to roll with the pieces you have. You can't just fucking,
you can't make New England West, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. And then when he was in Denver, he just brought in all these New England guys, and the only one that was worth a shit was Lonnie Paxton. He's a fucking long snapper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your best player can't be the long snapper. That's bad.
Yeah, problem. Serious organizational problems there. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, interesting rumblings in the bye week of Shedeur and Mark Davis. That's interesting. We'll see kind of how that plays out.